Hey everybody, it's me Gambit896 and I'm back with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing All New X-Men, Volume 1, Here Comes Yesterday. The series is written by Brian Michael Bendis, with these first 5 issues being illustrated by Stuart Immonen. The series is published by Marvel, and as I said, this first volume collects the first 5 issues of the series. On the colouring, we have Wade Von Grobadger and Marte Gracia on the inks. Both of these gentlemen do a fantastic job with both the colouring and the inks, in my opinion. And I'll show you some great examples of why as this review video goes on. So the story starts out and we have our present day Hank McCoy, or Beast, talking about in his inner monologue that he's undergoing a secondary mutation, and he's talking about the fact that he's gone through a mutation before which he was able to survive, but he believes that the second mutation that he's going through will kill him, and he wants to do something worthwhile during his final days before the mutation that he's going through, as I said, will eventually kill him. And then we jump to Australia and we meet one of our new mutants, who doesn't know it at the time, called Eva, who is at this party trying to strike up a conversation with a guy that she has the hots for, under the direction of one of her friends. Unfortunately for Eva, her overprotective brother shows up, and there's an unpleasant fisticuff scene that happens between the guy that Eva has the hots for, along with his friends and her brother, and this then awakens her until then dormant mutant power, where she's able to stop time, as you can see there and there. It's at this point that our present day Scott Summers, or Cyclops, shows up, along with Eric Lenscher, aka Magneto, and Emma Frost, and Cyclops is essentially trying to recruit Eva into his X-Men team, and he says that if you come with me, I'll help you to control and train you to control your powers, which then Eva reluctantly but ultimately agrees to, which leads to a really great little one-page spread of an action scene with Magneto, Cyclops and Emma Frost battling against the Australian police department and also the military as well, I believe. And we then see that this is being shown on live TV, where we see Aurora Monroe, Bobby Drake and Kitty Pryde's reactions to this. Of course, Aurora Monroe being Storm, Bobby Drake being Iceman, and Kitty Pryde being Shadowcat. And we have Bobby basically stating the fact that the younger Cyclops that he grew up with when he was a part of the original 5 X-Men would hate the situation that has transpired with the modern day Cyclops, and he through his actions and through him stating this to his friends and fellow X-Men, this then prompts our present day Beast to travel back in time to bring the original 5 X-Men from the past into the future, or Hank's present day, in an attempt to basically get the younger version of Scott Summers to talk to his older self, to make him see the error of his ways, and to stop Scott Summers from being what he's now become, which is a mutant revolutionary. And we see that the way that Beast has actually time traveled is actually really cool, and in the context of the story actually makes sense and doesn't feel forced or doesn't feel like a gimmick. It just feels quite natural in terms of the story and who the time travel device was created by, and obviously Beast has then made some modifications to it. Here we see a really great double-page spread of the original 5 X-Men and Beast's return to the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. That is a mouthful, believe it or not, to try and say that in one sentence. And we have some really great character moments where we have Wolverine's reaction to sniffing and smelling a younger version of Scott Summers, who, suffice it to say, he is none too pleased to see, given the fact that the present-day Cyclops has killed Charles Xavier, and for this reason Wolverine is not too fond of Scott Summers. So this then leads to a mini little action scene with the original 5 stopping Wolverine from attacking Cyclops, as you can see there. There's also some really great comedic moments in this from Bobby Drake, particularly from him seeing the younger version of himself. There's also some really great other generally laugh out loud moments with Bobby Drake doing these first 5 issues. And we then see that the younger Hank McCoy is forced to help the older version of himself out of the predicament that he's found himself in. Obviously, like I said at the start of the story, with Hank going through a very painful secondary mutation. And we then pick up with our present-day Cyclops, Magneto and Magik, aka Ilyana Rasputin, or Colossus, or Pyotr Rasputin's sister, where they've decided to initially set up shop and reconstruct the Charles Xavier School for the Gifted. And where they've decided to set up shop is decidedly pretty messed up on the part of Cyclops on making the decision. Now, I'm going to get into a lot of trouble with diehard Cyclops fans when I say this, but I've never really cared for the character of Cyclops all that much. I thought he was kind of the Boy Scout or the goody two-shoes of the X-Men, in my opinion. I think the only incarnation or X-Men series I've actually liked Cyclops in is the Joss Whedon and John Cassaday Astonishing X-Men run. But under Brian Michael Bendis' great writing expertise and storytelling, and Cyclops now being the villain of the piece, I actually really like Cyclops as a character. Given that he is a villain, I actually think he is pretty cool. Obviously being, like I said, you know, a newer version of Magneto, essentially, being a mutant revolutionary and everything. There's a really great action scene where Magneto and Cyclops are breaking out Emma Frost from the custody of the humans, and we find out that Emma, Cyclops and Magneto's powers have all gone incredibly wonky and are not working nowhere near as well as they should be. And Emma has deducted that this is, or deduced I should say, that this is something to do with the Phoenix, given that she, Cyclops, Ilyana Rasputin, Colossus, or Pyotr, and, or Pyotr, however you choose to pronounce it, and Namor were the Phoenix Force 5 in the events of Avengers vs. X-Men. Namor got taken down first, his power then transferred to the other 4, Ilyana and Colossus got taken down, their power then transferred to the 2 remaining Phoenix Force 5, obviously being Emma and Scott. Scott went a bit crazy under the influence of the Phoenix power, stole Emma's portion of the Phoenix Force power, left her for dead, and suffice it to say, she is none too pleased to see Scott Summers. Because Magneto was hit pretty heavily with a heavy dose of Phoenix power by Scott in one of the final issues of Avengers vs. X-Men, his powers are also going wonky as well. So there's that really great fallout from the events of AVX, and also the ongoing character conflicts as well. There's also a really great dialogue exchange and character moment between Cyclops and Magneto, where Magneto basically lets Scott have it, and he says, "There's no great cosmic force that forced you to do what you did. It wasn't the Phoenix that forced you to do what you did. You wanted to kill Charles Xavier, and you did." And I thought that was just a really great character moment on the part of Magneto. There's also a really great confrontation between the original 5 X-Men and Cyclops and Magneto, as you can see there and there. As I may have already stated, Stuart Immonen's artwork in this is absolutely fantastic, and also Wade is it Wade? Yeah, Wade von Gro-Badger and Mate Gracia's colouring and inking in this is absolutely fantastic. Stuart Immonen also does a really great job with some of the inventive panel layouts that he does. For example, this one, where we have Cyclops' reaction upon seeing the original 5 X-Men. And he's talking about in the inner monologue that he can't believe that the original 5 are looking at him with such contempt. And there's also a really great reaction to him seeing the younger version of Jean, obviously given the two characters' history together. And like I said, there's a great confrontation between the young Scott Summers and the present day Cyclops, as you can see there. Let me just turn over my notes page. And then in issue 5 we have the issue that focuses mostly on Jean Grey, and we have a telepathic conversation between Beast and Jean, where Beast is basically saying, I'm sorry for bringing you forward in time like this, I'm sorry for letting you, or making you having to grow up so quickly, but given the situation, it calls for extreme measures. And we then see that both he and Jean Grey and the younger version of Hank are all working together to help our present day Beast, or Hank McCoy, out of the predicament that he's found himself in, obviously undergoing a very painful and extreme life-threatening secondary mutation, as we saw right at the start of the first issue. There's also a really great double page spread and some more fantastic panel work and artwork from Stuart Immonen, where we see Jean Grey is reading Beast's mind, and she's seeing all of the events which will transpire in the future, particularly with her, and what goes on with her as a character, and everything that she goes through, as you can see there and there. There's a really great kind of team decision moment at the end. There's some great individual character moments as well, and dialogue exchanges. There's a really great kind of last sort of panel on the last page, which is really interesting, and I'm really excited to see where the story goes. The writing in this by Brian Michael Bendis is absolutely fantastic, as well as the storytelling and the dialogue exchanges. But that's pretty much something that's unanimous with Bendis, is his fantastic dialogue and dialogue exchanges between characters. The artwork by Stuart Immonen is equally on par with Brian Michael Bendis' writing and storytelling. Also, as I said, Wade von Gro-Badger and Mate Gracia do a equally fantastic job with the colouring and the inks on these first 5 issues. If I had to give this first volume of All New X-Men a rating, I give it an absolute 5 out of 5, and I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Brian Michael Bendis, if you're a Marvel fan, if you want to get into All New X-Men, all you need to know is Cyclops is now the bad guy. He's now a mutant revolutionary, and while he was under the influence of the Phoenix Force, he became the Dark Phoenix, and he murdered Charles Xavier. There you go, you're all caught up. But, well, that's pretty much a very brief synopsis of the ending of AVX. But Brian Michael Bendis does a great job at catching new readers up on everything they need to know in order to be able to fully enjoy this first trade of the first 5 issues of All New X-Men. So, as I said, absolute 5 out of 5, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. If you're new to my channel and you'd like to see more of my videos, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Scambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys.